Today we have Cheryl Behymer, who is a lawyer at Fisher & Phillips. But tell us a little bit, Cheryl, about your practice of law.
Thanks, Alan. I am a labor and employment attorney. Our firm represents management exclusively in all kinds of labor and employment issues, including affirmative action, compliance, defending a discrimination charge, anything along those lines, union avoidance, which has been a hot topic in South Carolina recently.
Tell us a little bit about your education and background.
Well, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this being in the South here, but I was actually born in Ohio and grew up in Southern California, so I'm not at all a native from South Carolina. My husband is a retired Air Force pilot, and he had a stint at Myrtle Beach earlier on in his career, and I really liked South Carolina, so when he had a chance to come toward the end of his career and retire, I chose this area. I went to school at California State University, Fullerton, and graduated from law school in the Washington, D.C. area.
You've become involved in the state chamber in the evolution of what's called now the South Carolina Diversity Council.
The Diversity Council was an independent agency, or organization more properly, for the last 10 years. Glenda Thompson, who's at Sunoco now, was one of its initial founders, and it was a group of individuals who had come to a pretty early on really recognition of some of the significance that diversity could bring to our productivity and our economic development in South Carolina. And the organization then informally affiliated with the Chamber a few years ago, and then just last year the Chamber wanted to increase its own diversity initiatives and efforts, and they asked us if we would partner with them and actually become a formal committee of the Chamber.
And does it have a broad mission?
The mission of the Diversity Council is to engage, support, and educate the employers as they seek to strengthen the diversity values in the workplace. And diversity is somewhat difficult to define sometimes, and we've spent some time as the Diversity Council coming up with the definition, because it is very much more than race and gender, which sometimes is an initial misconception. But it's the complexities, the differences that we have in the workforce, and it's trying to engage them and to strategically manage them so that you have a more productive workforce and, in turn, a more productive economic climate.
Why does a business need to implement kind of a diversity program?
No matter what your business is, you have a customer in some form or fashion, or a stakeholder, and those customers or stakeholders are going to be diverse. They're looking for a business that can serve their needs, that can understand their perspective, and that can bring whatever they need to that table to get the business. So a diverse workforce is going to be responsive to that kind of need.
You have an initiative coming up in January, a webinar where you're going to be highlighting diversity. Tell me a little bit about that.
January 20th, we're going to be talking about the social media from a diversity lens, and our focus is going to be kind of twofold. Number one, employers need to look at generational differences in the workforce and see how some of those people who have been raised on the internet and Facebook and such, how they can interface with those who are the baby boomer generation, where some of these technological devices are still maybe a little bit new. So we're going to look at it from your generational issues in the workforce, but then also there are a lot of companies in South Carolina who are trying to figure out how to best position themselves from a marketing perspective. And we're looking at establishing platforms on Facebook and things like that. But it's very important that that a company not misstep and put itself out there in a way that could be unintentionally offensive to someone, for example, if you violate a cultural norm. And so it's very important to have those diversity parameters in mind as you're putting yourself out there in the marketing arena as well.
And where can businesses find out about the Diversity Council, and then maybe separately where they might sign up for this webinar?
Okay, that's through the South Carolina Chamber, and if you go to scchamber.net, then the Diversity Council is over on the left-hand side, and I know the events and calendars and the seminars that you can sign up for, there's a hyperlink for those as well. So scchamber.net is our home website, if you will, and that's where you'll be able to sign up for this free webinar on January 20th, as well as to get more information about the Diversity Council.
Cheryl, thank you very much for coming into Midlandsbiz today. Appreciate your time and appreciate your efforts in supporting diversity in the state.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed being here.